POL Design Training Course, Lesson 1.1, Use of the UFC. The Safety Department at NAVFAC has asked us to remind everyone that EM 385.11 and UFGS 013526 apply to everyone, even engineers and architects, and not just personnel involved in construction activities. Agenda. We will discuss the hierarchy of the laws, codes, and standards that apply to DoD POL fuel systems. Rules of thumb for using UFC 3460.01 design petroleum fuel facilities. You must follow all laws that apply. CFRs and final governing standards always apply. Codes might apply depending on the localities you find yourself operating in. You must follow the UFC for new construction unless you get a waiver from the relevant authorities. You should consider this UFC when looking at existing facilities and renovations. Do not allow yourself to be persuaded by people who say the UFC always applies to existing construction. The guidance contained in this UFC is intended for use by planners, engineers, and architects for project planning and for preparing engineering and construction documentation. In addition, it is intended for use by operations and maintenance personnel as a guidance document for facility design, modifications, and improvements. These criteria, except chapters 12, 13, and 14, are intended for new construction only and do not apply retroactively to facilities existing at the time this UFC was issued. However, all of these criteria, including chapters 12, 13, and 14, apply when modernizing or expanding existing facilities if those improvements can be justified in terms of obsolescence, expanded operational requirements, safety, environmental compliance, or excessive maintenance costs. Lesson summary. We discussed the hierarchy of laws, codes, and standards like UFC 3460.01. To sum it up, you must follow all laws that apply. Codes might apply on a case-by-case basis depending upon locale. You must follow the UFC for new construction unless you secure a waiver. You should consider this UFC when looking at existing facilities and renovations. And do not allow yourself to be persuaded by people who say the UFC always applies to their existing system.